Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court of the Rings on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm Lotros Community Manager Cordovan. Nice to be with you here on a Friday. How are you doing? I don't have any concrete plans for in-game today. I figure we'll be talking a lot about the latest news, what's going on. We can show off Rohan housing a little bit. I did pick up a mead hall on one of my characters, so I could kind of show it off. Maybe you want to stop on by on Lantraval. And we'll just have a little party or something like that at the mead hall here today. So, how are you doing? Thank you. Hello from Houston on Facebook. Hello, hello. Hello, Second Breakfast Eaters. Indeed. How's it going? Hello. A new camera window design. Actually, I stole this from I was messing around with things. I saw the little yellow square, and it seemed to look not too bad for streaming from my living room, as it were. There you go. Rohan housing is the most awesome thing. Yeah, so for those who don't know, this week we released update 27.2 that included two key things. That would be Helm's Deep on the Legendary Worlds and the debut of Rohan housing. Now, unfortunately, I was getting just a ton of notification sounds. That's part of why I was a few minutes later, is I had to take care of some audio issues on my end. And so all the pages I had called up to show off on the stream today have since been deleted. But let me go call up a few more of these things and show them to you. So let's start by just real quick skimming the release notes, see what we should be discussing here, get any kind of questions, feedback related to objects on there, although I know for a fact we have a lot of classwork, and I'm not really going to be able to comment too much on the why of the classwork, other than to say, because that's what the team wanted. So, Helm's Deep arrives at the Legendary Worlds. That's Alnor and Ithil, level cap 95. Temporarily, we have turned off epic battles. However, we have these new storied tales that you can use to do all that stuff anyway and complete the story. We are working on a patch for probably next week that'll address the issue with epic battles. It'll address, if we can solve it in time, an issue where we've seen some reports of people getting kicked out of certain mead halls and that because they were too low level. We're not sure quite what's up with that one yet. There's a couple other known issue related bugs that I can get to here in a second that will also be on a hot fix for next week. And then we've got a few odds and ends minor things that just didn't make it into the last patch. So Rohan housing is now available, and I guess we'll be showing that off later on in the stream. So let's just skip that part of the notes for now. Bjorning's got some work: burglars, captains, champions, guardians, hunter, lore master, minstrel, runekeeper, and warden. Tons of class things there. I'm not going to go through all that stuff. It's a lot to read for one thing out loud. To you've already seen it probably a few days if you have a question about that, so maybe I could just handle it that way. Probably best if you just read the release notes, and you can find those on lotro.com. Let me do one thing quick while I'm thinking about release notes. I actually have a plan in the near future that, if time permits, I want to do some work on the way we present release notes to you on Lotro. So for years now, we've been putting it directly as a copy paste into the forums. And while I know some people like it that way, especially people who get used to it being there, I think we need to change practice there. And so I'm making an editorial decision as community manager of Standing Stone Games, meaning unless someone stops me, this is how it's going to be. I'm moving our release notes as of update 27 to lotro.com. But wait, you say, it's kind of hard to find the release notes that way. Yes, you are correct as of today, but I'm working on a situation. I'm working on essentially organizing it better than, but similar to the way it's been done since 2006 over on the DDO side. Now, I know some people cringe at hearing that other game, but there's a reason I want it there. Frankly, I think release notes belong on a game's website. Just flat out as a philosophy, I believe release notes belong on a game's website. That means English, French, German for Lotro. I think that having it all on the forums has proven over the years to Lotro that it causes some version control and discoverability issues over time. Now, you can always just link to all that old stuff on the forums, but I don't think forums is a good place to put permanent things like your game's historical release notes. So I'm moving all that stuff as of update 27 over to lotro.com. I started to do some work this week, and then some things happened that just kind of blew that out of the water. But I was doing some work this week to set up for the website a release notes page. My goal for that release notes page will be that you will go to lotro.com/release notes, and it will be all organized going all the way back to 2007 by order of release. That's my goal. Ain't gonna happen. But what I can do is at least start with getting things from now forward onto lotro.com, get a release notes page that you can look this stuff up in a permanent status, and then migrate over all that old forum stuff. And we're really, since 2007 here, we're talking at what, several hundred at least release notes? More so when you're starting to look at localized versions like French and German. So it's going to take a little while, but my goal is to get all this stuff in a permanent place on lotro.com. And I can't give you an ETA on that, but for now, as of now, I am making a decision. Release notes are on lotro.com. All the links are being preserved as articles, ideally, and what I've been able to do on the DDO side that I believe our players there have very much appreciated is that as long as I keep the titling consistent, then you can, if you want to scrub release notes, for example, just change a couple of characters in the URL to get to any release that the game has released from 2007 onward. That's my end goal. That's largely what we have going on the other game's side, although there's some display issues on their website with the way that it organizes the list. I have run into those issues on Lotro already here, which is part of why this isn't already live yet, despite me going on lotro.com. And I'm moving the notes as of update 27 to lotro.com. At the very last ditch effort I will manually make a page and call all those release notes in a spreadsheet somewhere, and then I'm going to simply make the list what I want it to look like manually if I have to. I'd rather not do that because that means every release from now on forever, someone's going to need to update 3 pages. But frankly, I think that that's a better situation than having to update at least 3 forums/other places for release notes, running into version control issues and having just historical loss of what I believe is pretty important information for the game. Okay, sorry about the sidetrack, but I wanted to make sure that that was clear. I don't think I've actually talked about that publicly yet. And I guess let me take a quick pause on looking at chat to see if there's any opinions on that. Yes, that would be the best option. Yeah, the wiki has it. You're right. So right now, that is a great way to just sort of find all that stuff is to go to the wiki. I think we need to have it on Lotra.com as well. I think that in those the access to release notes needs to be um, perhaps prioritized a little bit more than it has been. In getting that in one place and in a place where it can be accessed more quickly. No. Thurless, yes, you can search on all those notes by hitting Control F in your web browser and then doing a search bar on the page. That's it, that's the best. Most of that stuff will not be in, say, picture format. It'll almost all be text that I'm aware of. So it should function that way. But there's no way I can do, say, like a meta search function. Perhaps if we ever update Loacher.com, that's something we could do, but it certainly won't be for this go around. All right. Zalarod has a question from Twitch chat I'm going to copy over and follow up on later. Sounds like there may be an issue with bartering jewelry with marks and medallions from the Quartermaster Veteran of Helm's Deep if you are a Bjorning. I will have to get back to you on that one. All right, let me look quick on YouTube. German release notes back when Codemasters were in charge were very funny to read. I bet, well, frankly, they were probably more native speakers, so I bet it could well be. Will there be a summer festival? Yes. That should be actually good point. I'm going to make sure I follow up on that one. It's listed on the calendar, is it not? And that should be there. That's coming up real quick, isn't it? Any news for Epic Battles Legendary Server? Yes, that'll be coming in our next patch, probably next week. Tentatively targeting something like Tuesday-ish. Stay tuned. Something could happen between now and then. Pushing it out a day or two or something, but by somewhere around mid next week, we aim to get a patch out to take care of a couple of things that I will get to in the release notes. Yeah, the race change token we're right on the edge of being able to release that. We decided not to release it. Originally, we were considering releasing it for update 27 here, as you can probably figure out. But we ran into that bug on Bull Roarer where it wasn't playing nicely with some avatars on mounts. And rather than introduce that as a bug and then be in a situation where we can't be 100% certain that we could, say, version over a fix that would correct the issue for those who had run into it, we opted not to release the race change token just to save ourselves and players any pain points there. That is, however, the final bug, and that is something that I believe we're working on. Some work went into it this week at least, and so that should be ready to go. If not next week, then probably within the near future after that, as soon as that gets corrected. Has the pass-through on Epic Battles been posted? It was actually in the Update 27 release notes. They're called Storied Tales, and it's a system that we're using to just, if you want to, you can just have a story-based bypass of that entire bit of the Epic Battles part of the storyline. Okay, let me just real quick scrub through the release notes before I do a couple other things. Okay, this is worth mentioning here. This is in the crafting notes. The character XP granted by planting fields has been made more consistent across crafting tiers, and somewhat reduced in accordance with shorter planting induction times. Introduced in Update 25. Craft XP awards from farming recipes remain unchanged, as does the other stuff. That had to do with it just because of the quick induction, it was causing some kind of game design issues that we had to address. So that's the reason we had to reduce the character XP slightly granted by planting in crafting. But the induction is much faster as of Update 25, which is why we had to make that change. Fix a couple of cosmetic issues with like the flared hanging lantern. Race change. It was in the release notes because we were at one point going to release it in 27. It was kind of last second. We were still unsure, and then we made the decision to just no. Let's hang off till we fix this mount bug. Rohan housing set bundle. I can actually show you that in a little bit here. A War Leaders Command Post, PVMP work there. Premium Housing Brokers, Burginda, Northwind, and Cellulod. Let me get over here. Will now allow you to barter mithril coins to receive premium housing writs. Yes, barter mithril coins. Receive premium housing writs. Did some Midsummer Festival work that, no big surprise there. That's done, however, now, right? Yeah. VIP rewards added to Mickeldelving, Kellendam, and Thorin's Hall. Did some work on Remerchant. Oh, I thought I fixed that Honoring Heroes thing. Alright, whatever. There's a hidden release note. See that dark gray thing? No! Okay, what else do we got? Yeah, so characters below level 86, we had some reports today of cannot access the Rohan Kingstead homesteads from the landscape entrances. They need to speak to one of the housing brokers in Snowbourne or Edoras to tour a house or buy a house. From there, they can use the housing travel skills to access their neighborhood. That's the other big thing that we're aiming to fix in next week's patch. Oh, one nice thing, the Loke command has been modified to include the world name. That's good for not just you, but also for us. All right, next piece I wanted to quick talk about was show you that we do have a page here on Rohan Housing that has been put together. Let me call up that page and just make sure that we go through any questions related to housing, and then I'm actually going to, like I say, log in. I'm actually logged in right now to Landrival, and I'll show you kind of a mead hall, and we'll wander around some of the properties and just kind of hang out and have a little bit of fun here. So, introducing Rohan Housing. This is something that we've been talking about for quite a while. There's two neighborhoods, the Kingstead and Eastfold, Kingstead Meadows and Eastfold Hills. The Eastfold Hills tend to be kind of a little more woodsy and rocky. The Kingstead Meadows is more plainsy and rural, I guess might be a good way to describe it. That's where I am. You'll see that in a second. Grassy plains and farmlands. There you go. Each neighborhood has some deluxe style properties. That includes the cave. That's been real popular. And then the mead halls. We have things like hitching posts that we can kind of talk about and show off and things like that. Cosmetic pets can be hooked on most interior and exterior hooks with the purchase of a item from the Lotro store. Movable light sources, fire pit hooks, a few other things as well that you can see. And you can just find out more about this on Lotro.com. We, again, as we mentioned earlier, have a Rohan housing set bundle that includes a replica of the Throne of Rohan, seat of Meduseld, I hope I didn't mangle that name, a watchtower, forge, study workbench, oven, and some steed halters, which are what are used to put the cosmetic versions of your mounts onto the stable. And I can kind of do that. There was, however, a couple other things I wanted to quick mention before I transition in-game here, so let me make sure I get that done. We do have housing carry-alls that are in the Lotro store. They're going to be here for a little while. I also want to make sure that we call out that we have added a VIP event boost. Again, VIP event boost. There we go. This is running through August 13th, shut off at 3 a.m. Eastern Time on August 14th. This is a VIP event boost, kind of part of a little way to say thanks for some of the recent issues we ran into. What else do we got? I just added something else to the calendar too. What was that? Yeah, the VIP event boost. Hobnanigans is this weekend. Hobnanigans is kind of still popular because of items and cool things that you can get from it. Now we added stuff. Or not added stuff, but did some work on Hobnanigans a while back within the past year or so, so it's more popular than ever. So that's cool. Maybe I'll do that again. I actually really enjoy running Hobnanigans on the live stream. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, Summer Festival set to begin on the 20th, so we'll have more information as we get a little bit closer to that. Also, I wanted to call out that world character and shared item transfers have been re-enabled. That includes transfers from Bombadil for free. So you can now transfer from Bombadil to any of the non-legendary game worlds through September 15th. Through September 15th. After that point, Bombadil will be closed to world transfers, and we will do a database wipe. So this is your chance to preserve your character on Bombadil. Go and do a free character transfer through the Lotro game launcher. It'll be available through September 15th. Plenty of time to get that done. On transfers, closed game worlds remain unavailable. That's something we are still actively working on and hope to have some news on within weeks at this point. But I guess we'll just kind of, let's not give a promise on an end date and just announce when it's ready, huh? So transfers from the closed game worlds still being actively worked on. Otherwise, I'm not going to go into the sales. That seems fine. And I think we pretty much have everything else covered, question mark. So why don't we head in game here and show off the Rohan housing a little bit. Let me kind of quick call up the houses. I've picked up a couple that I can kind of show off on the stream here today. This one, excuse me, is the Deluxe Mead Hall at 2 Colt Road in Edelover, Rohan Kingstead Homesteads. If you're hanging out on Lanterville, feel free to come on over and hang out with me for the next 20 minutes or so. This is the mead hall that I have currently set to public. Public can both place cosmetics and other housing hooks and visit. There is a minor issue, well, kind of minor issue, not minor, for those impacted. However, there should be a way around it with the quest completion for Rohan Homesteads. So some people, if one of them isn't set to allow for a visitor right now, you can't complete that objective. That'll be fixed in the next patch as well. But in the meantime, at least one person and in often case dozens of people on each game world have got their mead halls open to public visit, so you can just complete that objective if you need to. Go ask around in world chat. I bet they got you covered. So here we are, 2 Colt Road, Edelover, Rohan Kingstead Homesteads, Deluxe Mead Hall. I didn't do a lot of cosmetic work on it because I just haven't had time, because like I said, it's just been all over the place this week. But I did I just sort of threw together the stuff that I wasn't using at this point, and I thought I would give you a little quick tour of what it looks like there. So you get like a stable area here, and I've got a few things hooked up to the hitching posts. I can show you how that works, perhaps, if we want to. Got a few, I put a bunch of property guards there just because I wanted to put some people in my land here. The property guards are just kind of standing right now. That'll be corrected in the next patch as well. This is the Rohan housing tower, the wooden watchtower that you get. It's part of the Rohan housing set. I think it's pretty cool. The windmill is a public space, not private, which is cool. I don't like the way our camera tends to distort a little bit on first-person view. The FOV goes a little strange sometimes. But you can see there's a neat little neighborhood here, and I've just got it set up. Now you do get access to a barn, which I will enter here. And you can see this is a pretty cool kind of interior looking space. I just put a spare furnace I had. Like I say, I don't really have much to really fill up yet. But honestly, the thing is, because I've got it open to the public, I just kind of wanted to give people a place as well that if they just want to try out some housing decorations, see what it looks like as they planned their own purchase or whatever. I wanted to give people an opportunity to do that so they could just place and set decorations. If for some reason you placed it left behind and then someone else overwrote it, it would just go back to you anyway, so not a big deal, frankly. We have heard your suggestion to have housing hooks, or rather hitching posts, rather, in the barn. I don't know why that just couldn't make release, but that is something we are actively listening to your feedback on and would very much expect to probably do in the future. So you'll have a few hitching posts in here. I don't know ETA on that, but yeah, it's totally something we can do. So let me just real quick, I'm gonna pull back on the UI and show you kind of placement of objects here. Your placement really begins at a line, about like here. Kind of, if you want to just say second post here to the windmill, you start to get a little property space. And then back here, you can see it goes back to approximately, it goes back to this little cool little hut thing, which you can't enter. This is my doghouse. I figured I'd give the puppers a pretty cool place to hang. And I'm going to pop inside again the barn quick. You can see here's the hitching post. So you can see you basically create a mount decoration out of a mount that you have. You'll get things called steed halters when you make a housing purchase in Rohan, or if you choose to purchase them in the Lotra store, or not Lotra store, but 20 mithril to convert it. And that'll give you a permanent item that you can then use to slot in and out of various hitching posts of this specific mount that you choose to turn into a hitch. In post-style cosmetic item, mount decoration. And you can adjust it as you are. The hitching post just kind of shows you where the center placement is. That doesn't appear when the property is toggled off. All right, let me turn quick back on this and enter so you can see what kind of hooks do exist in this barn. There's small floor, carpet, quite a bit of options. No hitching posts though, and that does seem like something we can very clearly bring to you. But you can see it has a pretty extensive set of hooks. Oh, and also up here too. I didn't head up here. But you've got plenty of kind of cool space for your, I don't know, she shed or man cave or gender neutral enjoyment space, whatever the heck you want to call it. And you can see some small yard hooks here. The windmill is not part of the personal property. The windmill is public space, which is cool. And really this whole area it is personal housing, right? So you technically don't need to allow visitors. We don't encourage anyone we're not trying to force anyone to do anything. But it is sort of the center of town, center of the neighborhood. I think in many ways it is kind of an opportunity to be a more public space for those who purchase if they want to. You can see there's a bunch of hitching posts here, and I put mounts on them already. Some large yard space hooks here, and then enormous yard hooks, which are currently not being used. Like I say, there's a whole lot of stuff that's not being used right now. But I picked it up just, like I said, it's for people to mess around with, and then when I get to it, I'll try to do a better job. Perhaps we can actually do a housing decoration. Let's just say that one housing channel style. Today on property Rohan style. This is the watchful seat of Meduseld, which is part of the Rohan housing set. And then, as you can see, I put all of the public space usable stuff, I think. I mean, I don't have a craft vocation on this character, but I think if you did have a craft vocation... Hey, and actually, I had flipped that around. I prefer that to be... Like I say, it's public space. I don't care. But I like it over this way. Rank. There we go. Rohirric Oven. Rohirric Forge. Rohirric Workbench. I'll put in a little farming garden. Rohirric Study. And then now let me head inside. This is actually, I don't know if I've gotten a real good shot at the mead hall, so let me just kind of show you what the mead hall looks like here. And while actually, I'm just going to leave that up for a quick second while I take a look at chat. You can change out the mounts on hitching posts, yes. So what happens is that item will just go into your inventory. You can put it into storage and what have you, bring it out again to a different hitching post, whatever. If you want to make a hitching post item out of a mount or pet, you do need to use one of those halters, and then that turns it into, or doesn't, it provides a copy of it, rather, I should say, that can be placed there. It doesn't actually consume the existing item. It'll give you a new item in addition to your existing item that you can then place into a hitching post or cosmetic space. Let me real quick call up something here while we're talking about that. Oh, you actually just do it through the UI. So yeah, what you would do, for example, so let's say I wanted to make a mount that I didn't have. Let's just pick Red Clad Pony of the Gap. Why not? All right, so you drop that slot into there. Oops. Or not. Should just be that. Yeah, there we go. Create housing decoration from skill. And it for one steed halter. I've got 6 steed halters here. Click OK, and kaboom, there it is. And kaboom. There's my decoration that I've sort of replaced here, right? So if I want it to be, and you can see the red clad pony of the gap is right there. Gotta move it around to where you want it to be. How about like that? Save it, and there you go. And then you've got these items here that if you want to add to a hitching post, you can just do that. There you go. And if you don't have any halters, then it'll convert using Mithril. All right. Wow. Looks like some people have been doing a little work in here. Nice. Oh, congratulations, community. You guys did a few things around here. I had put a few pieces on here. Actually, I did some of this. Like, this is the other candelabra. You can see you've got kind of a big, tons of space, frankly, in this mead hall here. I mean, look at all this stuff, right? Holy camoly. And lots of opportunity to let your decoration skills go nuts. Here's the replica of the Throne of Rohan that you get in the Rohan housing set. I figured it belonged kind of by the window there. Someone put a rainbow, which is sweet. Yeah, some of this is a lot of this is not mine. People have just kind of been putting stuff in here. That's awesome. You got another big room here. Area light, intense purple. There you go. Oh, I have the audio because turned down. Let me actually turn up the audio here. There we go. Sorry about that. And you got the big banquet table that someone placed. That was very kind of them. I'm going to open up all the hook points so you can kind of see there's a light hook point, a fire pit hook point. We have lots of requests already for things to do there, and for sure we will be doing that. Here's the Rohirric chair. So you got plenty of floor space. That rainbow sea is a light space there. All right. Going to do a quick tour. You can see you got individual kind of floor color space in the rooms. Plenty of hooks here to do different things, although it's never enough, is there? There's never enough. But it ain't too bad. Ain't too bad. And then let me head upstairs as well so you can kind of see the other space. There's a little kind of reading nook area here is what I would turn it into. A nice upper area for, you know, whatever you wanted it to be. And then even a space kind of back around the corner here, which is pretty cool. Maybe private quarters or whatever you wanted it to be. Wink. Plus you can break your leg there, you know, in your own house, in the comfort of your own home. Go back outside to the watchtower. Want to see the size of the hook? Sure, no problem. I can't remember what it was. I think it was maybe large. Yeah, large. Okay, let me make sure I'm up to chat. Is there a way to put ceiling hooks outside? No, I don't believe so, right? Yeah, sorry, Kevin. I've been not paying as much attention to checks. I've been looking at the screen. Will I address the Guardian morale difference compared to Captain for endgame tanking? It would not really make much sense for me to address that, other than to say that we will, you know, that's a function of sort of class work that we would need to do in the future. I'm the community manager, so ultimately an issue of the difference of Guardian morale compared to Captain for endgame tanking is really something that our systems team would want to address in a future patch. Sounds like there's a bug question over on YouTube. Let me see if I can figure that out. Oh, okay. Yes, I can actually answer that question, Kevin, over on YouTube. That came up we found a solution to that. Well, not a solution per se, but we found the issue to that within the past 12 hours here. So let me actually get to that in just a second. That question is really about world character transfer renaming. We have indeed discovered a little change in the way that it's doing world transfer forced renaming, and that the old Year Plus archive, as reported to us by you, does indeed appear to not be functioning correctly. So we're going to have to be doing some work on that. However, anyone who does get a rename will get a free character rename option to them. I realize that's not going to solve some people's problems who don't want to have their name appended with the -1 or want the original name. That's something that we are working to address in the near future, but at this point we do not have an ETA. So for now, if that is a issue of particular concern to you, perhaps hang off on we're doing a world transfer. Otherwise, you will get a free character rename if you run into a naming issue right now. But that is indeed something that we have been able to confirm in the last like 12 hours or so that there is a problem there. And that is something that we'll be working to address in the near future. Alright. You couldn't change mounts on hitching posts. You only used 7. It said I used 8. Put in ticket. Nothing yet. Okay. If we have a bug there, that's something that will get trickled to the QA folks. Hopefully we can get that taken care of if there's an issue. And yeah, you can change out the mounts on hitching posts. Yeah, let me show you. I'll just do it again here real quick. So, hitching post. Say I want to put the steed here instead. Kabonk. And see, it just goes right back into your inventory. Now you got another one there. Here, let's give your horns a little more room. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so it's just an item that you just go and place like nothing. So, all right, what I wanted to do though before it gets too late, because I notice we're already at 12:45 here. My how time flies, is head on over to the other side and head on over to the Eastfold homes. I did just pick up a personal house, not a fancy one. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the reason I did pick up a mead hall here on Lanterval is I feel it's pretty important. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, here we go. I feel it's important that I be able to have just a regular live server mead hall or some kind of Rohan house that I can do quick status checks when I see bug reports on the forums and all this other kind of stuff as well. Also, especially because we had that objective completion issue, I wanted to make sure that at least on this server there was one mead hall that was 100% open to visitors. And then also I thought it might be kind of fun for, frankly, a little mini event space for the live stream and things like that as well. So that's ultimately why I had the company pick up one of the mead halls on Lanterval. Alright, so here's just kind of a basic Eastfold Rohan house here. You can see the Eastfold neighborhood. Actually, I'm going to run around a little bit. And that's a good point. Maybe I'll head back up to Kingstead at the end and then just run around there a bit there. But you can kind of see the various housing available. This is in Eastfold as I tear through someone's house, potentially. That's pretty nice. That's nice. How can you bring the Guardian issues up to the systems team? First off, I would just say that our systems team is well aware that they have a ever-growing to-do list in terms of player want for Guardian and other classes. So I do think that they have heard you already on Guardian, frankly. But if you want to post a detail on it, I would encourage you to do so on the Lotro forums. They do read the forums. They don't reply much, but they do read the forums. and they will see that feedback that you provide about what you would like to see them do with the Guardian. Especially on classwork, they tend to be a little on the quiet side because they don't want to poke the hornet's nest too much. That stuff can get pretty contentious pretty quickly. Lexicon, right now, I don't believe the tech exists in order to just allow that swap of -1 to non-1 after the transfer is completed, given the current state. That's what we're going to need to be fixing, is that exact thing. So, for the meantime, if that is an absolute concern of yours, just keep it in mind before you transfer. Good point. Someone put it out on MooBot, but let me just mention that through August 31st, you can still redeem Lotro free quests. That's Lotro free quests in the store before, or through rather, August 31st to permanently unlock a whole bunch of currently available non-expansion quest packs. Additionally, we have select expansions for 99 Lotro points. That's through August 31st. After that point, that coupon code is going away. So you'll want to make sure if you've got an account, maybe even a spare account or something you want to add it to, that you take care of that before the end of the month. Any news about a new or recycled Figments vendor? No. I did hear a little bit of chatter, however, about that in the past week or so. Maybe someday in the future we'll have something we can mention about that. Aldosi, I'm going to have to ping SSG Red Panda and others about the rotation of Filbert Fig, Rowan Raspberry, the Curator, etc. I'm aware that it's been a little kind of all over the place in recent months. Some of that's, I think, just kind of timing and COVID related. It all gets sort of jumbled up in a bunch of other work that needs to be done. But I agree that we should probably get something out there in the near future if we haven't, and see what the deal is and what we should do there. So, noted. Oh, VIP login bonus. Heck yeah, you're right. That's also through August 31st. If you're a VIP, you can log in and you'll get the thing that Dwinstrel right here is wearing. Oh, and by the way, man, someone took a pot shot at my character names on the forums this past week, saying that basically accusing the team of, well, if Cordo names his characters this, then clearly the team doesn't understand Tolkien lore. And I'm like, no? Just so you know, I'm dumb when it comes to character naming, and I'm dumb because I like it that way. It's Dwinstrel because he's a dwarven rune keeper. And he's the brother of Dwinstrel, the dwarven minstrel. That he never got any minstrel training is simply a point of contention between the two brothers. And frankly, if the names of those two characters offend thee, deal with it. Bombadil is closed, but you can transfer characters off of it. And item transfers exist in Lotro too, so you don't actually have to log in to do that stuff. Any update on PVMP in the future? Nothing to announce this week, Ashakra. Check in soon. We have a few things in the 27.2 release notes, and I would expect to see a little bit more work perhaps in the future. I don't want to promise, Ashakra, that the race change token will be available next week, although that is a possibility. But let me not make that promise today, because just in case it's not accurate. Can Bjornings please have heavy armor drop from scaled instances? That's something we will need to do in the future for sure. But still, if you're going to accuse Chris Pearson of not knowing his Lotra lore because Cordovan named his character inappropriately on the live stream, what's up?
Let's get Lizzie on the stream.
Oh, maybe. Do you know where she is? Yeah, she
Over
just
there.
over there. Oh, maybe we'll do that at the end of the show here today. That sounds fine. We got about 5 minutes. I wanted to quick pop into the house over here and show you this stuff. So you can see this one is more kind of rocky and kind of darker wooded, and perhaps, well, just sort of different in tone. You can see it's got a lot of cool little nooks and crannies in here as well, and tons of hook points. And then you got a really cool yard. You can kind of see, here's the wooded area. You can kind of get a better sense for the space here. This guy have a minor animation bug, huh? Yep. There we go. You can see you've got quite a bit of wooded yard area here. Alright. And again, you have like an upstairs space and all sorts of little side rooms and things. And this even has sort of an upper area, little attic space. See? Pretty cool, pretty cool. And this is now available in-game. You can check it out by going to one of the housing brokers, which I just off the top of my head was what? Edoras or Snowborn. You'll see them on the map. You're standing next to each other. Each one will let you teleport just standard housing style to all the roads and stuff. And honestly, I got a PM. Sorry, person who might be hearing this at 12:56. I got a PM this week from someone say, "Hey, if you want to show off Rohan housing, check out my house in the live stream, and here's the address." I've run out of time to do that. I guess I was a little too slow in getting to it all. But this is just kind of a real quick introduction there for you. Perhaps next week I can show off. Actually, that's a great idea. So next week's show, what I'm going to do is show off some of people's Rohan houses. So if you have a Rohan house that you particularly think is worthy of showing off to the wider community on Court of the Rings, send it to me. Send me the address. I need to know, the address, the character name, and the server. Don't forget the server. And I'll try to pop on to the game world this next week. Check out some of these houses, pick a few of them, and do a little bit of a show and tell next Friday here for Court of the Rings. Otherwise, I understand that Corey Olsen is out today because of Myth Moot. I can run late. However, I have things I need to do, up to and including publishing the beacon and working on some release notes and working on some things for the other game as well, and doing some stuff on the Lotro side that I need to get done. So I can't really run late here today. But I agree. I'm going to pop my cat on camera here for you real quick. And then next Friday, I'll be back we'll do a housing special here again, since this was just sort of a brief little overview to Rohan housing, and show off some of the cool creations that you've come up with over the past week. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to leave the music on. Let me pop up the camera, and then let me drag the cat, kicking and screaming. The cat hates to be on the live stream. And then I'm going to say bye-bye to y'all.
Lindsay's not gonna be happy.
There you go.
Here's a massive floof ball. Hi, floof ball. How are you doing today?
Yep. You want to wave goodbye? Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.